say, go big or get out.
We'll get going here since time is money and we can't afford to pay Dave any extra than we are.
What's
Thanks
your
everybody
latest
for
fees
being
for the
here. We got a great turnout. I still think, like I said, Judy and Deanna will be coming. I put on the schedule that maybe September 9th, well, that's why I did it, September, that's why I kept doing it instead of August on there, for today's date. But anyways, I'll shoot for maybe having something next month and do another monthly meeting, and then we'll see if we can get any additions to it. I'm going to try and get a state planning attorney to come here, and that might help bolster the group, plus Tom Wick's usually here. But today we've got Dave. Dave's going to give us one of his presentations on communication. So we will let Dave get started here, and the others, Tom and Deanna and Judy, come, and we'll let them sit down.
Welcome them right in. Okay, how's everybody doing this morning?
Great.
Good, yeah, right? Okay, what I want to do today is I want to show you guys a workshop that I do. It's probably one of my most popular ones. It's on communication, how to connect with people. So whether you're directly in sales or not, like Lonnie's in sales, Steve's in sales, you have to connect in your business because you're always selling. So how do we do that? And that's what I go through, numerous ways of connecting. Everybody has their way of connecting, but are you really connecting with that person? Because there's 4 different personality types. There's a director, there's a thinker, there's a social, and there's a relator. So a thinker would be more like an engineer type. A relator is somebody that feels the pain. A social is somebody that's real active, an entertainer type. And a director is get it done, bottom line type of person. You don't have 4 distinct personalities. There's only 4% of the people that are just that. Usually we're a hybrid. But the first thing you have to understand is what are you as a personality? And you have to understand what you're dealing with when you come up and you try to communicate with people. So what do you think, if my personality, I think most of you guys know me a little bit, who would have the biggest challenge with my personality out of those 4 personality types? Who would I have to really work on and be careful with? Any ideas? Director? No, I do okay with directors because I got a little of that in me.
Okay, the engineer type.
The thinker. The relators love me. They love me. They think I'm great. I really connect with relators great. Socials were good because that's what I am. I always thought I was a director until I understood personality types, and really I'm not. I'm a directing social. And once you understand your personality type, you can analyze other personality types and really connect. So I first started doing this, and I was going around, I was going for this big speaking job, and it was so perfect, and I knew I was going to get this job because I was perfect for it. But I was dealing with a thinker, and I didn't realize this guy was a thinker. Thinkers don't like me. They get scared of me. They're like, oh man, that guy's full of it. That guy can't be real. I didn't know this. I'm calling this guy every day. Hey, big guy, what's up? I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Emailing him. And he wouldn't get back to me, but he never really said no. And then finally he got back to me. He sent me an email. Except he wasn't meaning to send it to me. He was meaning to send it to his partner. He said, get a load of this clown. Would you ever hire him? And I wanted to really go back at him and really burn him, and you just don't do that in business. I said, apologize, won't happen again. But I didn't understand personality types. I would have gotten that job if I understood how to communicate effectively with them. And that's what I want to talk about today. There's 2 basic types of communication. What'd you do? I'm sorry, what's your name?
My name's Kelly.
Kelly, hey, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
So what did you do over the weekend? Anything fun?
Absolutely nothing. It was a quiet weekend.
That's good. That's not all bad. What about Lonnie? Did you guys go boating? Or?
Went boating, went to a party, had company all weekend,
So pretty active.
went to a pool party.
Cool. Steve?
Went to a play at Chanhassen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good play?
yeah, good play.
What were you doing?
Patsy Klein.
Oh, I want to see that.
That's it's excellent. I'd recommend.
She
that.
was big in Nashville.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Went to a wedding.
Wedding?
I just got back from Las Vegas.
Oh, cool. Winning?
Las
Okay.
Spent the weekend at the cabin with another fan.
Okay, so did we really have to think to communicate that way? It just flows out, right? I mean, that doesn't take any effort. And that's okay. That's effective in some respects. But what I want to talk about today is purposeful communication. So expressive is experiences, thoughts, perceptions. Purposeful communication is designed to influence and motivate. That's what we have to do, whether we're cold calling, whether we're selling, anything we're doing, whether we're talking to our spouse, that's purposeful communication. And that's okay. That's how we get what we want. That's a good thing to do. There was a guy that wrote a book. His name was Nicholas Boothman. still his name is Nicholas Boothman. He wrote this book, and he wanted to sell books. So he goes to the New York Times, and he says, would you read my book and write me a review for the book? And the guy at New York Times says, no, not until we go out in the streets of Manhattan. And I want you to talk to 3 different groups of people, and I want to see if they like you in 90 seconds or less. If they like you, I'll read the book and I'll write the review. So the first thing this guy does, this Boothman guy, is he goes up to the cops. And you imagine the cops in New York City, they're leaning against the wall. Gruff guys like this, looking for the bad guys. So Boothman goes up to the cops because he wants to show this guy how effective he can be. First thing he does is you want to make eye contact, right? What does eye contact do for you?
Gets their attention.
Gets their attention. What else?
Establish trust.
Trust, yes. It shows confidence. Now you want to make eye contact and you want to break the eye contact, right? So if I make eye contact with Lonnie, that's good. We connect. That's energy. But I don't want to be like, because she's going to get nervous. Then you're going to scare her. So I don't care if I'm talking to 1 or 1,000. I'm always trying to make eye contact. So he goes up to the cop, makes eye contact. Now normally, you wouldn't do this with a police officer, but normally if you were talking to someone else, you'd want to shake their hand, correct?
Right.
How do you shake their hand?
Firmly.
Firm. But now you don't do Adrian Peterson,
Right.
break their hand. But you know what's worse than that? What about this? Don't you love that? Don't you just want to go wash your hands up that fish?
There.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you lost the connection there. So he makes the eye contact. And then what he does, ever so slightly, he leans in. Now I don't want to break his space, but I want to lean in. Everything in this world is energy. You need to get into their energy. Not to where you break their space because they don't know you. Just a little bit. So he leans in a little bit to the cop, and then he looks at the cop and he smiles. What does the smile do? What does the smile do for you?
Relax.
Relaxes.
Barriers.
Breaks the barriers. It says, hey, you're all right. I like you. So he smiles. And then the cop's got his head turned, and he's kind of nodding. So every so slightly he turns and he starts to nod a little bit. And as he's standing next to the cop, gradually he starts to cross his arms like the cop does. And he starts to become like the cop. He starts to assimilate with the police officer. Talks to him 90 seconds, walks away. A reporter runs up to him and he says, hey, that guy you're just talking to. The cop says, yeah. He says, did you like him? He said, yeah, I kind of did. What about him did you like? I don't know. Something about him. I just connected with him. So he goes back to Boothman. He says, how'd you do that? He said, you got to buy the book. And people are comfortable in like environments. When you went to school, you had the cliques. What are cliques all about? You're in a like environment. That's your comfort zone. You need to become like that person. If you're selling to that person, you need to watch what they're doing. Don't make fun, don't mimic, but just become like them. It makes them, what do the politicians do? When they go to Iowa, they don't wear suits usually. They wear flannel shirt, boots. They try to be like the farmer. Vote for me, Steve. I'm like you. Because they only have 90 seconds. Got to get it done. So you need to connect. And I'll tell you something, and I always tease about this. Obviously, we don't want to mimic accents or dialects, right? People in Georgia talk a little different than people in Minnesota. So if you're in Georgia and you walk in, and Lee says, how y'all doing? Come on in. You don't look back and go, not too good, didn't go get me, got torn the car last night. Because she's going to say, what are you, crazy? You're making fun of me. So obviously that's something that we all know, but to assimilate with the person, to connect, that's how you make this instant connection. And that's what I'm talking about today. If you look at an effective communication, and probably you've heard this before, 55% is body language. So what's body language? Anybody?
Nonverbal communication.
Nonverbal communication. More specific? Anyone? No trick question here.
Posturing or?
Posturing?
Yeah.
How you dress? How you look? Usually, and I didn't do it here today because most of you guys know me. When I go do a keynote speech, even I'll do this. If I do a workshop, I do this. I say to people, I say good morning.
It's Hollywood.
Yeah, no problem.
We're
Better late than never, right?
Well, there you go. That's what I was
High
thinking.
five. Pound the rock. Yeah. Oh, gotta blow it up. They taught me that. I'm not doing that. I gotta remember the blowing it up part. I keep forgetting that. My kids taught me it. But my point being is body language is a key element because of this. I don't know why this keeps happening. When I walk in to a workshop, I will say, before I say a word, I'll say, will you guys just take 2 seconds, write down 2 or 3 words that best describe me. I know other speakers that do this, but they don't have the guts that I do, because after they write it down, I ask them what they wrote down. Which usually it's good, but I'll go around the room, and usually it's pretty positive. Some of the responses are similar, but most of them are different. I've had one that didn't like my tie one time. I said, that's okay, I didn't pick it out. One guy said I was stuck up. He didn't even know me. Here's my point. And I say this to him. You don't know me. You don't know my background. You don't know my history. You don't know anything about me. But you've already judged me. You've already judged me. That's how we're conditioned. Our subconscious judges. Whether you're a judgmental person or not, you are judging people. So body language is that important. I remember when I first started speaking, and I decided I want to be a speaker. My company got bought out. I always want to be in training and speaking, because the only thing I think I'm really good at is helping other people realize how good they are. They think I bring it out, but really they always had it within them. I think I'm good at helping them realize that. So I decided I wanted to be in speaking and training, and I talked to some speakers, because there's some pretty big time speakers in Minnesota, and I said, how do you get into this? And they said, just go speak. Go speak for free if you have to. Go to the Rotaries, they'll take anybody. Rotaries. So I called up all the Rotaries in the Twin City, and they were all very consistent. No, 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 no. They wouldn't even call me back half the time. So I said, what am I going to do now? So then I looked on the internet, and there was a big speaker training down in Florida. It cost a lot of money. There we go, turnkey, that's it, that'll make me successful. So I paid the money, went down to Florida, went through the training, really wasn't that good. The one thing the guy said to me, write down a major goal you're gonna accomplish in the next 6 months. Make it time specific, and it's gotta be bigger, it's not really a goal. It's gotta be something big. So I wrote down, in the next 6 months, I am going to give a keynote speech for a Fortune 500 company. I couldn't even give a speech to the Rotary. How was that going to happen? But I wrote it down, put it in my pocket, I read it every day and every night. About a month goes by, I get an email from a Fortune 500 company in Bloomington. It says, Mr. Durham, we would like to inquire about your speaking services. We're having a vendor partnership summit coming up. Could you please send us your speaker's kit? Anybody know what a speaker's kit is? I didn't either, I had to Google it. Basically, it's a kit with all your materials to show them what you do. I emailed her back and I said, Ms. Carlson, I'm out of speaker kits currently. I was. I said, could I send you one of my CDs that I'll custom make for your company? And she said, sure. And I said, how about this? You're local, you're in Bloomington, can I bring it to you? Because they were trying to save on travel. And she said, yeah, I'll bring it tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I didn't have a CD. So there I go to Best Buy. I didn't even have the software. I got some kid helping me. I get it. I'm in my closet. I'm working all night trying to record this doggone thing. Finally, about 4 o'clock in the morning, I get done. I get up the next morning. I drive down to Bloomington in my suit. I pull off 35W off 94th Street. Oh my gosh, I never knew that company was there. It was bigger than Maple Grove. Huge. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? I drive up, park in the visitor parking. I walk in, go to the receptionist. Hi, I'm Dave Durham. I'm here to see Len Carlson. I'm a speaker. Len's like, I don't care what you are. Let me tell Len you're here. So she comes out. As soon as she comes out, Len walks out. And I see Len and I go, hi, Dave Durham. I make the eye contact, say all this stuff. I even have my material. I lean in a little bit. I start to connect. I make the eye contact, I smile. Give a nice smile. I have it all going on. We talked just about 3 minutes. And she said, hey, I wasn't going to do this. But you know what? My boss, Steve Kerr, is available, Vice President of Global Sourcing. He has an opportunity to meet you. He's going to be on the decision. Do you have time? Of course I have time. So she brings me to this guy's office, which was about 5 times bigger than this room. Big board table, and kind of a powerful guy. And we sit down at this big table. I remember sitting across from him. And I'm going to talk a little bit about listening, because being an effective communicator, you have to be a good listener. So I'm listening to what he's saying, and we're just connecting, and I'm smiling, and I'm in his energy field. And I said, Steve, what are you looking for? He says, Dave, we're having a vendor partnership summit in Mystic Lake Grand Ballroom. And we're going to get our vendors in there, and they need to get on board with us. And we'll give them all our business. But if they don't get on board with us, we're going to go somewhere else with the business. Have you done anything like this? And if you have, how have you done it? And I said, Steve, you know, when I do vendor partnership summits, generally what I try to do is get my clients' customers on board with their vision, and in a positive way, let them know if they're not on board, they're gone, and leave them really motivated at the end. Wow, that sounds perfect, Dave. Exactly what I'm looking for. Well, I hope so. I just said back to him.
Yeah,
Said,
you
"Hey,
just
right,
regurgitated,
yeah." So I never forget, he says, I can't hire you today because we got 4 other people we're talking, big name speakers. But he says, I can tell that you are an established speaker. You You have a presence about you, and I can tell you've been doing this a long time. I can tell that you're good. He said, so we'll be back to you within the next month. I said, good, because that calendar fills up. And he said, okay. And I get all the way to the door, and I never forget, I was all the way to the door, and I just, like, my heart's like, right here. So, Dave! Yes, Steve. By the way, Dave, just how long have you been speaking? Steve, I've been speaking my whole life, buddy. Have a great day. Well, I have, just not public speaking. Since, what, 3 years old? They hired me. They hired me 6 months later. Go down to Mystic Lake Grand Ballroom. I never forget. Pull in there, go to valet parking, park my car. I walk in, man. Must have been 500-600 people, all engineers, all thinkers. But I had this down with them. And I had my material, but I was just sitting there thinking, if they knew what a rookie they hired right now, they'd be more nervous than me. So they said, here, sit down with the executives. You can have lunch. Like I could eat. So I'm sitting here, okay. So anyway, I get done, and I remember they bring me up the side of the stage. They had a staging area. They had other speakers, but they're not, they're corporate speakers, but engineer speakers. So anyway, I'm standing there, and the lady says to me, hey, we're using lavalier mics. Are you good with that? Anybody know what lavalier mics are? I didn't either. It's just a wireless mic is all it is. I said, to be honest, that's all I use. Well, it's true, because that's all I use that day. So she goes to put it, she hands me this contraption, I'm putting it on here, and she puts it right here. She says, that way you can turn your head, we can all hear you. I said, got it. So I remember I walk up on that stage, walk up in front, I had my stuff down, I practiced, and I got up there, and it was an hour speech. And I remember about 35 minutes in, I look out, and every eye was on me. And they're all, all these engineers, they're watching, I mean, they're glued. And I'm thinking, I don't know what came over me, but I'm thinking, these are my people. They're mine. They love me. But for some reason, I felt like I had to go to these people. And the key with lavalier mics is if you go through the speakers, you got to move through the speakers, otherwise you'll get back feed. I didn't know that either. So I remember I'm standing up there and I'm going back and forth on this big 5-foot stage at Mystic Lake, and I'm looking out there and the spotlight's on me, and all of a sudden I went to go to my people, and I went marching up that stage. And as I went like this, I realized the steps are on the side because that's where I came up. True story. And I stopped before I fell, but what was I in between? The speakers. And what happened? It scared me so bad. Boom! I went right over the top of that stage, and I remember right before I hit my head on the ground, right before I fell, I'm thinking, I wonder what they're thinking right now. So what are you gonna do? So I fall down, boom, and it hurt. And I have another workshop I do. It's called Roll With It. Is that boom? I turned around, hit the ground, flipped up, and I jumped on. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You people with me now? They're like, yeah, whoa, dude, that's awesome. And I'm thinking, oh, this hurts. I gotta get back on that stage and not get off again. I come around the side of the stage. I'm walking to go back up because I knew where the steps were then. And this lady sitting in front goes, hey, Dave. Like, yeah. She's like, I missed it. Could you do it again? What a show, baby. What a show. If I could figure out how to do that and not hurt myself, I would do it. Because I got the reviews and they all love me, but they all said, man, that fireman roll, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Keep doing that. I got that job because of body language. That's how it all started. That wasn't the final thing, but that's how it all started. That's how important body language is. Second part, vocal variety. What is vocal variety? Vocal variety?
Changing.
Not monotone.
Right. Voice inflection. Very key if you don't want people to go to sleep. You know, if you ever got the guy at the speaker, welcome today. I hope you enjoy our present. And you're,
That's church.
yeah. Or the guy that comes up and just screams. Well, yeah. And then you're like, dude, you gotta go up and down. Let's look at it like this. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care you like, don't even go there. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. When you look at the presidential candidates, one had an advantage over the other. We'll never know what kind of president John McCain could have been. But he didn't have the vocal variety, not his fault. Didn't have the body language, not his fault. Unless you're from the south side of Chicago, you didn't know who Barack Obama was 2 years ago. Now everybody in the world knows him. If you'd have asked me 2 years ago, who is Barack Obama? I said, oh, one of those terrorist guys, right? Because of his name, I wouldn't have known. And then he comes out all looking good and walking and smiling. How far can this take you? Very far, all the way, because you know what? Here's the problem. 7% is your words, is your content. When I give a presentation, I know that 93% is going to be my body language and my vocal variety. Everybody will pull one or two things out, but they're not going to pull a lot of it out. That's why I don't make them overly complicated or complex. Look at it from a presidential election campaign. They're not really listening to the words. It's a big popularity contest based on body language and vocal variety. Very, very important. When I did that speech at Mystic Lake, I got done and I valet parked and I went in the gift shop to get change. And I had a 20 and they had a lot of people in there, so I'm just walking around waiting until the line goes down. And this big, gigantic guy in a suit's following me around and he's crying. And I started to get nervous because everywhere I went, he went. And then finally he goes, "Hey, Dave." And I'm like, "Oh, he knows my name." And then I figured, well, he must have been in the crowd. So I said, "Yes, hi." And he goes, "I got to tell you, your presentation today, it's really, really emotional for me." I'm like, "Tell me more. I mean, I'm supposed to fire you up, not make you cry." I didn't say that, but I'm thinking that. And he said, "Will you tell this one story about hope, how you can accomplish things?" And I'll tell you guys the story before I'm done. And he said, "You know what? When I was a kid, and I was in school, nobody gave me a chance. I had no hope. And now I'm president of a company in Detroit, Michigan, and I've done real well. But when I was sitting there listening, all I could think about is my 8-year-old son who's going through what I went through because he has the same disability. And the kids make fun of him and the teachers won't give him a chance. And I just sat in that audience and I thought, oh, I can't wait to call him and tell him this story. He can do it. He can be successful." So everybody gets something different. Everybody gets something different. I don't care if you're communicating one-on-one or 1 out of 1,000. It comes down, 55% is going to be your body language, 38% is your vocal variety. It's a big game. When you're dealing with people, you're trying to get the sale, get the connection. Think about that. Think out of the box. Not complicated stuff. Look the part. If I want to be a speaker, I need to look like a speaker. Now, if I go like this to get a diesel mechanic job, they'd be like, "You're not hiring Slick Willie there. He can turn a wrench." Would you agree to be an effective communicator, you need to be an effective listener? Everybody raise your hand if you agree. Okay, humor me with this and I'll move through it quick. I won't keep doing it, but just humor me with it. When I say go, I want you to say together out loud the word spot 5 times in a row. Ready, set, go.
Spot, 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 spot.
What do you do at a green light?
Stop.
You stop at a green light?
Oh,
I'll be around you.
Let's go.
Right? Let's try this. One more. I'll spell a word, have confidence, no trick. Tell me what the word is. C-O-A-S-T. See, everybody thinks there's a trick there. I always get this big hesitation. It is coast. Now, come on. C-O-A-S-T.
Coast.
C-O-A-S-T.
Coast.
R-O-A-S-T.
Roast.
R-O-A-S-T.
Roast.
What do you put in a toaster? How's that come out? See, because we're thinking so quick. We're rushing to a judgment. We all do that. I had a guy in the front, a different company, a bunch of engineers, he's in the front. I'll never forget this guy sitting in the front. And I did the C-O-A-S-T, and I said, don't hesitate, just, and he's, cost! Oh man, this dude can't spell. C-O-A-S-T. He's like, cost! I'm like, I'll try it one more time. Listen good. C-O-A-S-T. He jumps his feet. Cost, cost, cost. I'm like, sir, it's coast. Oh, yeah. And everybody laughed, and I got done, and I was talking to his boss. I said, yeah, I felt bad, that guy. You know, he said so much enthusiasm, but he didn't catch the words being coast. He said, I don't feel too bad. He's got 58 patents. I said, but he can't spell. So, we make judgments. We just did that. We rushed to a judgment there. See, we're trying to get there quick. That's why we're stopping at green lights. That's why we're putting toast in the toaster instead of bread. Stay focused. How do we do that? It's hard to do sometimes with certain people. But you need to stay focused to listen to what they're actually saying and not rush to a judgment. To be an effective communicator, look them in the eye, nod. A lot of times, here's what you do. Say back to them what they just said to you. People love that. It reinforces that you're interested. It reinforces that you're listening to them. So when someone says, well, he says, I went boating for the weekend. Boating this weekend. Oh, you went boating this weekend. See, it shows they're getting it. And then it keeps you focused, too. And that's important if it's somebody that's not too exciting to do that. To stay focused can be a challenge. Look interested. We talked about that. How do we do? We nod, smile. Do not interrupt. When you interrupt somebody, we all know that. What does that say? You're not listening, and it says, you know what? You're not important.
No respect, you know.
It's about me. Yeah, it's about me. It's not about you. And here's the thing. I don't care if you're speaking. I don't care what you're doing. If you want to connect, if you make it about your audience, you'll connect. If I make you feel better when you leave here today than when you came here, we connected. It's that simple. Anybody you deal with. Now, especially in what I do, it's really important. If people leave when they leave, if they feel better, that's going to get me more speaking jobs. But anything you do, it's relative to everything. Smile. We talked about that. What does a smile do? Hey, I like you. We're connecting. It's good. Everybody has a nice smile. Somebody said, what if we got black teeth? Well, then don't open your mouth when you smile. Give compliments relative to the discussion. That's the same as like saying, so, oh, Lonnie went boating. Great. I bet you have a really nice boat. Anybody play sports in school? What'd you play?
Basketball.
Basketball? Anybody else? What'd you play?
Basketball.
Football? You play football? What position?
Cornerback.
Cornerback in Minnesota?
No, Michigan.
Michigan, okay. Yeah, I played cornerback too. In Florida is where I grew. That's where they have real football.
Right.
Yeah. See how I lost that? See,
Yeah.
see how I could, see how you lose that though? See how, you know what I mean? We're giving a compliment, we're connecting, quarterback, and then you say something wrong,
You break the connection.
you break the connection. I remember I was at exactly right. I was at Cooper High School in New Hope. A kid in there, his name is Rodney Williams. Just got recruited by the Gophers, can jump through the gym, he's gonna be a star basketball player, he said he's gonna go to the NBA. I knew, it was a big class, big auditorium. I knew who he was. He didn't know that I knew who he was. I did that same thing. And then I started talking about basketball. I said, yeah, I played basketball in high school, which I really didn't because I was too short. But we start to connect. And then I say, you know, but Florida, they play real basketball. And then he gives me that. Real nice kid.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. Right. Michigan plays real football, yeah. But he disconnects from you like that. So I was giving a good example. Before I could explain it to him, I remember I turned around because I was walking in the crowd. I turned around and started walking back, and this girl in the back is, Rodney, oh my God, he doesn't know who you are. He doesn't realize Rodney because he's such a celebrity there. And then I turned back and said, yes, I do. And this is my point. So when you're in a discussion, be aware of that. It's not about you, it's about them. So that you keep that connection because you can get it, like Steve said, you can lose it. Find points of similarity. So football or boating or pools or something, you have something in common, find those points. Share, it's important that you give them something back. They're going to take that away from here, and they're going to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to remember that person because they shared with me. They shared that they played football in Michigan, shared that they went boating. Relative to the discussion, pretty obvious stuff, reflect in a positive manner. Always come back positive. In this respect, you can be positive, I can have the connection, but if you start getting into your own issues and your own problems and, you know, my kids don't listen to me, my wife hates me, you're going to lose that person. You know what? Here's what I always tell my kids. You know, don't tell everybody your problems. You know why?
Nobody cares.
90% of people don't care, do they?
They got their own.
And the other 10%, they're glad you got those problems. Hopefully not, but in the real world, it's that way. So if you reflect in a positive manner, you're not going to lose that connection. It's important to do. Now I want to go through here, and we'll go through this fairly quick, but I'll go through the 7 fundamental motivators. This is what drives people to make decisions, buying decisions, any type of decision. Scarcity, what is scarcity?
Not much of it. Not
Right,
much of something.
Lack thereof, right, exactly. Does that get used a lot? Sure, the car dealers are, oh yeah, get it this week, get it, don't get it this week, you won't go left. Till next weekend. But they're trying to drive you to buy. The guy, you ever seen that late at night on the coin? They're selling the coins and then they even put a timer ticking down. Why do they do that? That stuff works.
Yeah.
It works. The election, what would Obama say, you know, do you want 4 more years? You know, McCain would say, do you want to take, if you don't elect me now, I might not be here before, no. But he's saying, if you don't elect me now, the terrorists are going to test this guy and I won't run again. You know, creating that urgency. Social proof. What is social proof as a motivator? So,
How about the stories that you're telling about whatever it is that you're trying to sell or trying to?
sure.
Other people have done the same
Yep.
thing.
There,
This
there
is
it
it.
is. That's it. Peer pressure, right? So, Adidas. We're wearing Adidas. I like Adidas because you're wearing Adidas. I need to be cool. Hollister came out of nowhere in the state not long ago. All the kids that go to school speaking, they're all wearing Hollister. And then you got the one guy that said, I ain't wearing that because you're wearing that. That's still social proof. Do you think, and I got to use this because it's a great example. Do you think social proof played a part in the election? Do you think people that
Oh, of course.
voted that never voted before? I mean, they had
Oprah was behind him. I mean, that was
social proof.
huge.
That's social proof. Huge. Well, they had homeless people voting.
Well, that's a good, yeah, like third party validation.
Right.
That's
that's
her name?
yeah.
That's, yep.
And these homeless people are voting, and they're like, yeah, you gotta put your address, park bench, and then, what? Park bench? Yeah, I'm homeless, didn't have a home. That's social proof. Social. Yeah, thanks. But it's very powerful as a motivator. And I'll tell you what, more young people voted in this election than I ever saw before. A lot of teachers were concerned because the voting stations were in the schools, and other kids were influencing their friends on who to vote for. Social proof is powerful. Commitment. Commitment is let's use the election because it's so easy. Commitment would be the yard signs or the buttons, Obama or McCain. Did you see the one on the guy kept putting a McCain sign in his yard, and the next day he'd wake up and it'd be Obama sign in his place, and he knew it was his neighbor across the street, so he put a camera up to catch him, and then he got one of those electric dog fences and electrified it. Indirectly, it was his neighbor, but his neighbor was sending his 8-year-old son over there. That little guy grabbed it. Ah! Dude, that sign's shocking. Then the old man went over to beat him up. Man, he tried to break the guy's door down. The cops came. That was a commitment. That was powerful. True story. Consistency as a motivator. How's this influencing you? Consistency. I got a great example of this. What's the guy from the Subway deal? Commercials. Jared. What is Jared known for?
Losing weight.
And how did Jared lose that weight?
Eating Subways.
Consistently eating Subway, you will be skinny and healthy. I mean, let's face it, if you walked in McDonald's and you looked in the corner and old Jared was passed out in the corner with Big Mac wrappers all over and stuff, you'd be like running up, Jared, get out, man, you gotta get out of here. You get fat and you lose money. They program us. We don't even know it. Hey, when you go into Subway, where are the healthiest subs on the reader board? Underneath the little Jared head. They don't even have to put healthy subs. I mean, they probably do, but there's Jared's face, because you see his face automatically. You think of that. Reciprocity as a motivator, is that powerful?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's huge.
That's my magic box.
That's huge. You help me, I'll help you. Ask your customers for that. When you do them a favor, do that favor. Make sure they're aware of it. I know you'd help me. I know you'll help me some. I remember I went to speak in North Carolina to a hospital deal, and a good friend of mine, my best friend from high school, is a pharmaceutical rep, and that's his area. He found out I was going there, so he met me there, and we took the wives. After I got done speaking, we spent the day in Charlotte, then we drove up to Durham to watch the Durham Bulls play, because that'd be cool, it's my last name. Coming back, our last night, Saturday night, and I said to Gary, what are we doing tonight? He said, we're gonna go out to eat downtown Charlotte. I said, great, where are we gonna go? He says, we're gonna go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. You guys been there? What's great food, right? Big portions. What else is big?
Check.
The check, right? I can't even enjoy Ruth Chris, man. I'll be sitting at Ruth Chris eating, sweating. Oh God, $20. So I said, oh, okay.
20, that's cheap.
$20
Well, he was
a
just
bite.
eating his
A bite.
vegetables.
Bite.
He was eating
Oh,
his
bite.
added
A
on
bite.
vegetables.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, great. So anyway, before we got to Ruth Chris, the girls hadn't eaten lunch. So we had to stop at Applebee's, get a quick lunch, get done lunch. Server brings the check. What's Dave do? I got it. It's on me. Gary says, oh, you can't pay. Oh, buddy, you do it for me. I know you would. I got this. It's on me. Sit down. Your money's no good. $42. He said, wow, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. What was I open for? Restaurant. We go to Ruth Chris. I go to Ruth Chris. I wasn't sweating that night. I was eating everything. When we get done, and she starts bringing over the check, but I think she took a 2-wheeler to bring that check. And I like have a hook on my hand. I can't quite get my hand out of my pocket. And I'll get. No, he says I got it. I said no, Gary, sir. No, remember you bought lunch. Oh, that's right, I did. Thank you very much. Very powerful motivator, right? I said, awesome. $382.50. Is that a good trade?
Sweet.
Yeah. Authority as a motivator. So authority would be, you set the cruise on 60 miles an hour, that's the speed limit. You go under the underpass and there's a cop, the radar gun, what do?
Slow down.
Slow down, look at the speedometer, and yet you know you're only doing 60 because he has authority. Is that the best motivator?
No.
No. Is it short term? Anybody remember the Revolutionary War? We don't really like authority in this country too much. We're rebels. Authority works temporarily. The most important motivator, when we talked about the first part of this, connecting, the last and final motivator, the most important of all, likability. Would you do more for somebody with authority that you like than someone you don't? Of course you
Oh,
would.
yeah.
If you combine likability with any of these, you can accomplish anything in this world. And I think when it comes down to it, what you really have to look at, your potential is absolutely no reflection of your history. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Vision without action is daydreaming. Action without vision is a nightmare. You can do, there's not somebody up here going, you're great, you're not, you are, you're not. Michael Jordan would miss way more game-winning shots than he ever made. Didn't make his high school basketball team, went home crying to his father when he got cut from the basketball team, was going to quit basketball. Would that have been a mistake? What did Einstein say? It's not that I was that much smarter than anybody else, I just stayed with the problem longer. Anybody ever hear of a guy named Les Brown? You have. Anybody else? Les Brown is one of the top 5 motivational speakers in the world. I've spoken in the same platform with him, taken some pictures with him. Obviously, I'm not in his league yet. But Les Brown is the greatest speaker I've ever heard. Multi-millionaire. He was born in Miami, Florida, Liberty City. The worst ghetto of ghettos. I mean, they're the bad people you aren't scared because it's a bad place. Les Brown's mother was a crackhead drug addict, had him and his twin brother Wesley left him on the floor of a vacant project apartment to die as she went to look for drugs. So people found Les and his brother, got social services in there. They talked to a lady named Mamie Brown into adopting Les. She adopted Les. She had no husband. She had no money. She had no other kids. She did out of the kindness of her heart. Everybody, her friends said, she's crazy. What are you doing? She put Les in the Miami school system, and you can imagine those school systems probably aren't the best in the world. When they put Les in the school system, they automatically classified him as mentally uneducable, mentally retarded. Told him he would never accomplish anything. And his great classmates told him he was stupid. Told him he was a loser. He was a class guy. He's a little guy. He doesn't know any different. That's your conditioning. Your potential has no reflection of your history. Your conditioning is what everybody put into you. It's not like when you're a little baby, your mom's like, oh, Steve, you're so cute. You're so cute. I hope you don't go to prison. She didn't say that. She said you could be great. You could do everything. You have greatness in you. Les didn't know that. And in Miami, they pass you through the school system whether you get an A or an F because they don't want you sticking around. Senior year, he gets into Mr. Washington's class. First thing he does is he fails the test, doesn't even try. Mr. Washington says, Brown, what are you doing? You just failed my test. He said, yes, sir, I know. That's what I do. I'm the class clown. I'm a school fool. I'm uneducable. I'm mentally retarded. I have a learning disability. He said, do not allow other people to define your self-image, Brown. Raise it up here. If you believe you're a loser, you'll be a loser. You can never outgrow your own self-image. If you think you're great, you will be great. Aspire to greatness. I will help you, but I will not pass you. So he helped him, and he passed. He didn't get A's, he got C's, but he passed. He was so happy. His self-image rose. He said, thank you, Mr. Washington. You made a difference in my life. He said, great, Brown. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do? He said, I want to be on the radio. I want to be a radio disc jockey. He said, you can do it. It won't be easy, but never give up on your dreams. You can do it. He said, okay, I'll do it. A year later, Mr. Washington's driving downtown Miami. He looks over, and there's a garbage truck. And who's hanging on the back? Les Brown. So he pulls in behind the garbage truck. He gets out. He said, Brown, is that you, son? He said, yeah, Mr. Washington, it's so great to see you, sir. How are you? He said, I'm very confused. About what, sir? Is this somebody trained to be on the radio? I never knew that. He said, no, sir, but I went downtown Miami and I took a test. And they told me this is all I'm qualified to do, sir. Brown, I told you. Don't let other people to define your self-image. They don't want you up here because they're too scared to go up there themselves. Go down to that radio station and you go as many times as it takes until you get the job. Yes, sir, I'll do it. He goes down to the radio station, walks in the door. I said, hi, I'm Les Brown. I'm here to apply for a job to be in the radio. The guy says, okay, fill this out. Give it back to me and I'll talk to you. Fills it about? He's back to, what are you, crazy or garbage man? Can't be on the radio? Get out of here. So he walked out dejected, went back to Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington, I don't care, Brown. Get it in gear. Go back until you drive the man crazy. So he does. He goes back every day for almost a month. Walks in, hi, I'm Les Brown here. Apply for a job in the Get out! Hi, I'm Les Brown here. Apply for a job in the Finally, after about 25 days, the guy said, I can't take it. I'm going to hire you. You got the job. Brown said, yes. I said, yeah. Our janitor quit yesterday. And we need a janitor. He said, that's fine. That's my way in. I'll do it. That's my start. He took the job. He worked every day for 2 years. Wouldn't take a day off because he's scared they'd fire him. And on the side, the DJs were showing him how to spin records and how to work the controls, how to do all this cool stuff. So finally, after about 2 years, there was a DJ. His name was Rock. He worked on Sundays. And Rock was a great DJ, but he had one major problem. He was an alcoholic. And he would drink all the time on the air. Well, this Sunday, he was drinking hard. And Les is sweeping the floors. Rock is sitting there at the microphone. He's drunk so much. He's like, Rock is rocking. And Les looking, oh man, he might pass out. This could be an opportunity. No, he didn't say that. He's looking, he said, Rock is really drunk. All of a sudden, he passes out. He starts snoring in the microphone. Les goes, Rock, wake up. He falls on the floor. Rock, can't. He's out, man. He calls the owner up, who lives an hour away. No cell phones there. He said, Mr. Watson, Rock is passed out drunk. What do I do? He said, shake him, Brown. He said, I did, and he fell on the floor. He said, well, kick him. He said, I tried that too. He's still out. He said, can you spin records? He said, yes, sir. They taught me. I've been watching them every day for 2 years. I can do it, sir. Brown, you start spinning those records. You spin one after the other. I'm on my way in right now. And don't get on the radio because you're not qualified for that. He said, yes, sir, I know. I'll do it right now. He said, Brown, let me make this clear. You get on that radio, you're fired the second I walk in the door. Don't get on the radio. You're not qualified. He said, yes, sir, I know. I won't get on the radio. I got it. I'll spin the records. Hangs the phone up, picks it back up again. Calls his mother up. He said, Miss Mamie Brown, this is your baby boy Les. She said, yes, Les, I know who you are. What do you need? He said, Mama, I need you to turn your radio to channel 105 because the downtown Les Brown coming out party starts today. Mama, I'm going to be on the radio. He grabs the microphone. Good afternoon, Miami. This is the downtown Les Brown show coming to you live. Listen up, because I'm going to change your lives. He talks the whole hour because he knows he's going to get fired. The owner gets there, he runs in there. Comes in there, he says, Brown, you're on the radio. He said, yes, sir. I know I'm fired, but it was worth it. That was the best hour of my life, sir. He said, Brown, you're not fired, son. You're hired. I never in my life heard anybody better than you. You are an absolute natural. Takes that station to Miami to #1. Gets hired by a bigger market in Detroit. Takes that to #1. Gets hired by a bigger market in Cleveland, Ohio. Takes that to #1. Gets elected state senator in Cleveland, Ohio. 4 terms. Gets hired by PBS TV out of Chicago to do a nationwide television show. Marries the famous singer Gladys Knight. If Les Brown is giving you this check today, you'll write him a check for $25,000 because that's what he gets per hour. So don't tell me there's not greatness sitting in these chairs today. Don't tell me you can't do it. And don't you let anyone else tell you you can't do it. Because you can do it. You don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. The only thing between you and greatness is you. So go be great and go do great things because I'm counting on it. Thank you guys.
Wow, yay! Oh, I'm all wound up. Let's go sell something. Damn it!
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Dave.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you much.
I got it.
I didn't think I could feel like that
Adrenaline
before
going.
9 o'clock.
Let's all give a round of
Very much. I appreciate that.
hopefully I've got my dates straight. September 9th was supposed to be sometime, but I think it's either the 9th or the 16th. Maybe it's October 16th that I was looking at to start out with. If
You
all
don't really think you're nice.
I got up, I got in the shower, I started printing these, I'm looking at the calendar, I don't know what month I was looking at. I wanted to be here by 8 to make sure I got the screen here for Dave. But anyways, I'll send everybody an email and let's see if we can't do it again. Have another meeting next month. We'll see who can attend. We'll see if we can get some other people. I mean, hopefully Dave has been an inspiration here to all of us to come here, add value, and be a reason for us to be here. We don't need to come here just to have coffee and talk and say business is horrible. We want to come here and motivate. We want to say what successes we're having, why we're having them. Keep that in mind for next month's meeting. Let's get together and talk about successes. Let's talk about where maybe our careers are going. Instead of doing our 60-second speech, maybe we all do a 5-minute talk on ourselves about what we're doing to move our lives forward. Maybe what we learned from Dave's talk here for us today. I thought it was wonderful. I had no idea what to expect, and I just knew that Dave was going to come here and give us a presentation that we would all enjoy. So, anybody else have any comments?
Well, I do. When you talked about not, what part was it? It was sharing, but not necessarily your life story or your problems. That perhaps isn't the best thing to do.
Depends on who you're talking to. I was talking about if you just meet someone and you're trying to make that instant connection, unless it's something relative to their situation that you know about. But if it's that way, then somebody you probably already had a little bit of history with.
Yeah, well, that must be how I figured that out then.
Yeah. So, if you know someone and it's your customer and it's a connection for you, of course you're going to use that. But if you want to come up and make an instant connection, people want positive. They don't want negative. They want hope. They want to surround themselves with winners. And not saying you wouldn't be a winner because you have problems, but that's how they look at it. Here's the other thing. I would just tell you this. You need to be a lifelong learner. Would you open a store without inventory? No. So people don't have time to read a book because they look at this book and they say, oh, it's 300 pages. I don't have time.
Oh, about a page a day. There's
10 minutes a day is 60 hours a year.
yeah.
You got 10 minutes a day to help yourself. That's substantial.
Keep it by the tweet.
Take Evelyn Wood's speed reading course, and you'll double your minimum. They guarantee you'll double it, because I had to do that from what I need a lot of content for what I'm doing. So if you double it, that 60 becomes 120 hours a day. So like my old coach said, excuses don't win ball games, results do. How do you get results? You got to put 10 minutes a day into the store. You got to. It's for you. You deserve it. You can do it. It's just a matter of whether you want to do it. You have to be disciplined on it. But everybody's got 10 minutes. Drives my wife crazy, but you get in my car and you will always hear a CD going. Would I rather listen to the radio? Yeah, but once I listen to the other stuff, I'm great. I'm good. I don't think about it. It drives her crazy at night. We got a CD player in our room. I'll be listening to it. Get away from this stuff. But you know why? Because it goes in your subconscious mind. The most powerful thing you have is your subconscious mind. When you're a little baby, you don't have a conscious mind. You don't. You just, that's why you hit your head and you fall back down, you keep doing it over. Like now you never do that. Say, I'll later bring you my food.
That's you on the stage.
My food. But the point is, you get conditioned. You can't do that. You're this or you're that. And we're all a product of our conditioning. We didn't create that conditioning though. So we have to go back and reprogram it. If you can visualize it, if you can picture it, it's here. It's just a matter of order. When is it going to come about? That's the hardest thing for people. That's why they say, why won't people do this? I don't know. Sit down and write your goals down every single day. Take 10 goals that you have, write them every day. Don't look at them, just write them every day. And if those goals don't match up from one day to the other, that's okay. That just means that goal really wasn't a goal. It wasn't something you really want. I carry in my pocket right here, this is a goal card. These are my goals. There's some big goals here. Every time I pull this out, it makes me focus on those. Oh, my goal card. Yeah. I'm programming this. When you go to sleep, say your goals out loud. Picture yourself achieving those goals. And then when it happens, you go, oh, he was right. But he wasn't just crazy. A little crazy, but he was right. And it works. That's the formula. If you look at any successful person, that's what they've done. They pictured themselves achieving whatever that goal was before it happened. And then you got to believe it. Put it in present tense. Because you know what? Otherwise, you're just wishing. And wishing is fishing. You might as well just go play lottery. It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. I had to learn. It's taken me a long time to learn that. And this stuff is way better than any college you'll ever go to. Other than if you want to be a doctor or something like that, obviously. It wouldn't work to be a surgeon. But yeah, we defeat ourselves. You believe other people. That's what you got to quit doing that. I mean, we all do it. I've done it. Right, well,
Where'd you find your information on those personality types? Is there like an online place you can go and take it just to see what your personality type is?
yeah, you know what, I've got some CDs I can give for you that you can listen to. If you like it, then you can buy them if you want.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's 2 sets of it, but that's Dr. Tony Alexander came up with that. That's his formula. I do another one. I do another workshop. It's on emotional, self-discipline, emotional control.
Mhm.
Same principles. You gotta know your personality types, but it gets into your subconscious mind and it calls that the horse, and your conscious mind is the rider. So like if you go out to the Grand Canyon and you get on those trail horses and you try to get them off the trail, they won't go off the trail. That's why you can put little kids on them and stuff. That's your conscious mind. Have you your subconscious mind? Have you ever driven somewhere and I'm like, God, I don't remember driving here. That's because your subconscious drove you there. You know, when you get in the car, you don't have to say, okay, turn the key, you just do it. My son's gonna go for his driver's license on Thursday. He'll be concentrating on turn the key, put the foot on the brake. But I don't think of that. So who's driving you, your horse or your rider? If you went to England and you had to rent a car, I bet the rider would get in control real quick. Cause that horse ain't going, I got it, no, we gotta go on the other side of the road. That's like, why do you wanna lose weight? What is that all about? Cause you get on a diet, you wanna lose weight, and you open that refrigerator. And you look in there, there's some good stuff. There's some pizza. That horse is like, eat that pizza, man. Like, no, I can't. No, eat that pizza, man. You want it. No, I can't. No, go ahead, eat the pizza. So he goes in, grabs the pizza, eats the pizza, and keeps eating the pizza. Horse is like, eat another piece, eat another piece, eat another piece. And as soon as you get done eating, you're full. You're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I should have done that. And the horse says, you dummy, you fatty, you shouldn't have done that. He turns on you. See? So once the rider gets in control, it doesn't happen. So those personality types, the director, the social, and you're a hybrid. I always thought I was a director. I would have said there was some social, but I always thought I was a director, and I am not. To the point he defines in that CD the kind of car that I would drive and why I would drive that. It's almost scary. You got to figure yourself out first, and then you can figure everybody else out after that. But
Let's say, I know for me in my business, I mean, I can almost tell within 5 minutes of somebody walking in the door if they're ever gonna come back in again. But I can't define exactly what it is about those people that makes them either they're definitely gonna come back and see me again, or I just know right away that I know this person's never coming back. There's nothing happening here at all.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to get that,
Yeah, it would.
to be able to maybe define it a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll get that for you, and then if you want, then I can get you a discount because I work for a seminar company.
Oh, okay.
And they discount the day of my seminars, so you don't have to come to the seminar. I'll just write you in on that day, so you
Oh,
get the good price on it. Because I can send you online, you go buy it directly, but then you pay a little bit more. So.
Okay.
And then you can listen to it first and see if you really want it. I know you will.
Yeah.
Because he's really good. Oh, he's a great presenter. He's funny. He's hilarious. He's just awesome. New Yorker, and he's just great. And he gets into some of the differences. You know, when he moved out to San Diego from New York, and California people just didn't like that New York person. Yeah, a lot of issues there. And see, I had to understand the thinkers, because they're looking, you know, and see, if you want to be truly great, you have to be prepared to be truly foolish. Like the girls back there that were laughing at me when I'm giving you guys the speech, you couldn't see them, but I don't care. See, I'm in control of my horse. I know what I'm doing. And they were getting a kick out of it anyway, they still are. But you know, until you really get to that point where you're prepared to really, well, why is that? Because you've been conditioned. Oh, don't do that, you look silly. You know what makes me good when I'm speaking? Is when I'm silly. People like that. It's different, you know, I like to go sit in their laps, you know? I mean, depending. You know, I mean, I've done that where I did it once to re-imitate that fall, and I hit my head again. It's like, oh, why did you do that? I gotta get that somersault down better. It's not so bad when you're starting off a platform, but on a platform, it's not good. But yeah, you know, and that's the thing. It's just understanding people because they're all their own conditioning. It's like the thinkers, like I said, the thinkers. I go through and define depending on how big the room is. I'll go through and I'll tell the different personality types, and I'll go, what are you? What are you? What are you? And we'll work through it a little bit. And I need to know who that thinker is and what type of thinker they are. Because when I go to them, I got to make a different connection than the other 90% of the people in the room. The other 90% are loving me. You know, it's like I did this one speech one time. There's, I don't know, 300 people and 299 like give me a standing ovation. And one guy just sat in the corner. I want to go, what's wrong with me? Why do you like me? He's probably a thinker. You know, it's the way it goes. You know, it's just part of it. But I did. I'll tell you real quick. But I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, or Omaha, and this gal comes in. There's probably, I don't know, 75 people. She sits in the back, bigger gal, just. And so I went right at her to talk to her, kind of win her over. I said, were you sent here or did you come here on your own? I was sent here and I'm backing up on my work. I don't need to be here. I'm in control of my emotions. It's the people at work that are having the problems. Oh, okay. Before lunch, and what I talk about is how do you control your emotions? You put it on a body scale. So every time something happens, I'm not saying eliminate emotions, we need emotions. Something bad happens, is it worth losing your arms and legs? No, just an arm. Just a foot? Just a foot? Let's get maybe a bruise. Let's put it in the right perspective. So we start going around the room with this, and this gal in the corner, as I said, look, if it happened, it should have happened. Should they have taken the hostages in Iran years ago? Yeah, it should have, because it happened. Morally, should it have happened? No. Ethically, should it have happened? No. But if it happened, it should have happened. You can't change what already happened. We spend so much time trying to, we beat ourselves up. That should have happened. Somebody did a hit and run on my wife's car. I mean, gashed it good. Should that happen? Yeah, it should have because it happened. Am I happy it happened? No. So we went through the room, this girl in the back goes, no, she says, you know what? I said, what really bad happened? Like I was thinking a car accident or something. She's like, yeah, my brother got killed 2 years ago. Okay. She says, and you know what? Now I have to put it in perspective and get over my grieving. It should have happened because it happened. Am I happy it happened? No. But it should happen. So I'm like, okay, let's go to somebody else because that's a little bit more than I wanted. And the girl, the bigger gal goes, I go, anybody else? She goes, I got one for you. I said, sure, fire away because I know she's going to be like, well, we just found out yesterday my husband's going blind. It's irreversible. He's losing his job and I can't pay my bills and I'm going to lose my house and I have 4 small children. And she starts to cry. You know, we're having an Oprah moment. I felt so bad for her. So did she need to be there? Yeah, she did need to be there. They were right. You know, that changed for her. She got her right, her control. It's not going to be easy for her going down the road, but it's going to be a hell of a lot more manageable when she's in control of the situation than when you let your subconscious tell you that you're going down the tubes. You know, what is when you really weigh it out? Really, what is anxiety? Anxiety is you're not a loser, but your horse is telling you you're gonna be. It's just a matter of time, so that's why you're always nervous. What is depression? Depression is when you've already given in, that you already say you're a loser, and there's no hope. You know, and that's when people start checking out because they figure, why not? And we got to get to that before it gets to that point. See if we could control that horse before we got to that point. You know, a horse isn't always wrong. I'm not saying that. Sometimes he's right. But you got to be in control of that horse, and that's hard. And the older you get, the harder it gets if you don't have a handle on it already. So, anyway, but yeah, I'll get that for you. I
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because it's a big pack. It's like 8 CDs or whatever. I think it's like $70 or $60 or whatever on sale, but it's really good. I mean, if you think 6, 7 CDs with it, it's really,
Yeah.
and you can
Nice.
constantly listen to it because every time I listen to it now, I pick up something different all
Yeah.
the time. So, click it out.
I wrote down the titles and the authors of these 2 books that Dave brought. I figured he brought them for a reason. It's probably because he likes them and he got a lot out of them.
Yeah.
And he might too.
This is an old book right here, Joseph Murphy, but it's getting in control of the horse, the power of your subconscious mind. You can get it at any bookstore. Really, really good book.
I'll email this out to everybody so that you all have them and you can do that. Anybody got anything upcoming that we can all share, tailgate events, anything like that?
I have it. But you guys are always, you are always a prize winner, then you don't collect.
You never got a span, huh?
Wednesday, no, I don't remember what I did with it.
Do you guys have it? You got mine.
Yep, September, Wednesday?
Just want to reply to the email if you want to play.
Okay.
It's up to you, I don't know.
Okay, I will. I'll let you know.
Okay, check that out.
Yeah, Wednesday, the 19th.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Yeah, see you.
Bye, Rod.
I'll try to be here as much as I can in the fall, but I have a crushing schedule in the fall because after summer is when the speaking really gets going. So I'm already booked, I think, just about every.
So who was the thinker in this room when you pick people? What am I? Pick me, what am I?
Little thinker, little bit? No? Relator? What are you?
Social.
Social?
What's Deanna?
Deanna? Social, directing, social directing social in that range.
And what
I don't
about-
think we really had a thinker in here, really.
What about meeting Steve? Even I.
Steve actually would be probably a relating,
Yeah.
relating social, relating director maybe. A little bit of thinker. You probably, you know, and you won't necessarily just be two. You just got to figure out what's the dominant, second, third, fourth, and go down. But I am a directing social. I don't have a lot of thinker in me.